Speaking of Canadian stories, Walt, let's talk about your father, who was born in Ontario and lived a good part of his life in Canada before he moved across the 49th parallel and began producing sons.
Yes, he was born in a little town, I think they call it Bluevale. It's right out of Goderich. And the Disney family were Anglo-Irish. And they migrated over there in the 1830s, which makes me feel that the Disneys had foresight, because it was 1840 when they had the potato famine in Ireland, but they were smart enough to get out before that. And my father was born there, and he was raised there and went to school there. In fact, he went to school in Goderich. And he was about 20 years old when my grandfather went to Kansas, out in the same area where General Eisenhower, ex-President Eisenhower, came from. And he was an alien, of course, being a Canadian, and he had to buy his land. He couldn't homestead. And he bought a section of railroad land, and that property stayed with the Disney family until just a few years ago, and my uncle had it, and I told him, I said, before you sell it, let us know. And so finally he wanted to sell it and retire. And I went to my brother, I said, let's buy this virgin land that our ancestors, acquired. And he said, what do we want with farming land and everything? He wouldn't go with me. So I didn't go ahead. I found out later they struck gas and oil on it.
Well, you can't win them all.
No.
Tell me, Walt, have you ever been back to your father's homestead in Canada?
Yes, I finally made it. I took Mrs. Disney along. She's not too interested in ancestors and things, When we got up there, she really fell in love with the town of Goderich. It was a beautiful little town. And she was quite happy about it, but I wanted to find the homestead where my grandfather, went out and cut the trees down and pulled the rocks apart, and where my father was born. So they gave me directions, and everybody was trying to be helpful and everything, and Mrs. Disney reluctantly went along, and I found this old place, and I said, this is it. It was really deserted. There were cows running through the house and chickens around. And I had my camera, and I got out, and I photographed that thing from every angle. And when I got through, I found out I'd photographed the wrong homestead. Well, ever since, Mrs. Disney has never forgot. She tells that to everybody about when Walt went up to Canada, and he photographed the wrong homestead,